Welcome everybody to Hairdressers United. I am so pumped for today, and if you are as excited as I am or have any questions along the way, make sure you leave a comment below. This is probably a great time for you guys to grab a notepad, a pen, or even a spare mannequin to get your practice on. What a bumpy start to 2020, hey? I don't know about you, but I was definitely craving some serious inspiration during this crazy time in our world. In a time of crisis, guys, hairdressers not only brighten the days of their clients, but we have the ability to brighten each other's future through education. We always find a way to pull together and lift one another up. Hairdressers United is the first ever 24-hour digital education marathon. Henkel has already donated, guys, 2 million euros to the COVID-19 World Health Organization. 5 million units of household and hygiene products, 3 million gloves to retail stores, $200,000 to the Professional Beauty Association, and today they will be topping it off with a whopping 100,000 euro donation across the charities that you vote for.
I'm using the Joico Blonde Life with 20 volume. And I'm mixing 1 to a little bit more than 1. Now the reason I'm mixing 1 to a little bit more than 1 is because I want to make sure that when I'm blending these foils that the product is gliding and sliding for me. Now if you mix it too thick, you might have an issue with it gliding. So lucky for me, Blonde Life, you can be a little bit creative with your mixing as long as you stay within the 1 to 2. So I'm gonna go in and just look at it and make sure it's like creamy, but it will still spread for me. So this actually looks perfect and amazing, but what I'm gonna do is add just a tiny bit more developer so that it'll glide for me. And I'm going in with 30 volume because I'm working on a dolly. And if you like her tone, we use the Joico Lumishine, my favorite formulation, honestly. I call it NAG, so it's a natural ash and a gold. So I use 10N, 10NG, excuse me, and 9NA. So I have all of the tones in there and it made it a really balanced, pretty blonde. I wanted it to be bright without it being brassy or anything. It lifted beautifully, but I love to add gold into my formulation to keep it bright. So that's what I use to tone her, and we'll of course share all of that with you guys. And I think I'm ready to go. Awesome. All right, you guys. So we're gonna go in and we're gonna start in the back. And I'm gonna explain this sectioning for you guys one more time as well. I have this back section taken away. I braided it off and just kind of clipped it off. I have a triangle section back here. And the reason I have a triangle section is because this is where the head shape changes. So I always like to section it a little bit differently so that I could just tell apart and just like strategize a little bit differently there. So I have this triangle section. I have a big mohawk section on the top. And I want to make sure that her part is somewhere inside this mohawk section. That way when it does fall, the color will fall evenly. So make sure that this mohawk, their part is somewhere in the middle. And then I sectioned off her money piece. I wanted to just do weave, slice. So what I did when I sectioned it is I just guessed. I just kind of took weave, slice, and I just sectioned off behind it. So we're not foiling or doing anything with these sides here or the bottom. So we're only doing a few foils. Awesome. And I did prep everything with the Defy Damage Pro Series 1. So if you did want to add this onto your tickets, this is going to be one of the ways you could double your business, okay? So if you're going to be focusing on average ticket, if you remember, that's one way we can double our business. You can always add on Defy Damage or some kind of add-on service And what that's gonna do is it's gonna help your average ticket grow. Make sure when you use Defy Damage, you shake vigorously and spray it out. And that's gonna protect the hair from breakage. It's gonna give you better and more even lift, and it's gonna make the hair 5 times stronger. It's also gonna boost your average ticket and help you make a lot more money as a stylist. I love services like this that take 0 time because they really build your ticket. Awesome. So now we're gonna get into the back here. And we're gonna take our first section. All right, so my first section is gonna be a horizontal section. Gonna take that. Now, if you notice, this is a V-shaped section. My initial section is pretty thick. If you can see that. It's a pretty juicy section. So remember, the bigger your initial section, the more depth is left behind. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna do some stitch work. Now, if you're not familiar with stitch work, watch me closely and you can create millions of stitches on your own, okay? So what I'm gonna do is go in and I'm gonna pick up, skim, 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 pick up. And I'm gonna create foil work that has balayage and baby lights built in. Because I took an initial thicker section, this is the dimension and depth that's gonna be left behind. If I wanted it to be brighter, what I would do is take a smaller initial section, hence giving me more coverage. So I'm gonna go in and anchor that. I'm using big foils that I haven't ripped yet, and I'm gonna glue where I want saturation to begin. So I'm gonna glue, glue, glue. I'm gonna get the product down. And as you can see, I did not move my hand. My tension did not go anywhere. As you can see, my left hand, my tension is still there. I'm gonna keep it there and I'm gonna back brush up. If you have a problem blending, if you have a challenge blending, what you're gonna wanna do is keep that tension until your blend is complete, okay? Once your blend is complete, you can go in and get new tension, which is plate. So I'm gonna grab my foil and use my hand as a plate. As I brush down, I'm pushing up. As I brush down, I'm pushing up. Now, if you have problems with flipping the hair into the foil, I'm gonna give you a secret right here. A lot of the time when we try to flip, it has nothing to stick to, so it takes forever to foil. But if you have enough product down, all you have to do is flip it in. If flip has nothing to stick to, it's gonna take forever to foil, you guys. So make sure your mechanics are good so that you save time. So I'm gonna start with my double fold. I'm gonna fold once, fold twice. Beautiful. My next section is gonna be a baby light. So if I do a stitch like I did previously, the pick up, skim, 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 pick up, that is gonna give me a good amount of dimension and some pop. If I go in and do a baby light, that is going to lighten the background color. The purpose of a baby light is to lighten the background color. So I'm gonna go in, take my section. My initial section's pretty big again, but I'm gonna skim off of it this time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The more weaves, the more natural the result. I'm gonna pinch, anchor, glue where I want saturation to begin. Glue where I want saturation to begin. Make sure flip has something to stick to. Anytime you feather, I recommend a double fold and close. Next section. Remember, the bigger the initial section, the more depth is left behind. So if you take a big initial section and weave off of it, that is how you control your depth. And if you don't know, if you're confused about how much depth you're leaving behind, or if you're confused about what it's gonna look like, watch this, okay? You're gonna go in. I'm gonna show you a new stitch. Stay with me, okay? And I'm gonna show you how to tell what it's gonna look like. We're gonna go in, take this whole section. I'm gonna show you like 5 tips in one section, so stay with me, okay? We're gonna go in, I'm gonna weave lower, pick up, weave higher, skim, 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 weave lower, pick up, skim, 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 pick up. The higher I weave, the less hair goes in the foil, or the less hair I pick up. The lower I weave, the more hair I pick up. So this is gonna be a W. I did pick up, skim, 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 pick up, skim, 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 pick up. So this is gonna be like if you were balayaging or painting a W. As you can see, get a little bit more dimension in here. Glue where I want saturation to begin. Glue, glue, glue. Make sure you have enough product. Use the product. Use the product. We've been told not to use the product. Don't waste the product. Just charge for it, you guys. Use it and charge for it. It is worth it, and you'll get that result. You'll get that lift. You'll get everything that you want. Use the product. Use it. If you are having a hard time sticking, this is adding 15, 20 minutes to your foil. Use the product. Beautiful. So I'm going to double fold and close. So I showed you the V's. I showed you baby light to lighten the background color, and then I showed you the W. What do you think I should do here? I'm gonna do a baby light. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, wait, look. If I do baby light down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh my gosh, look how much hair I picked up. Look at that. Too much hair, watch. Now, I take my section and I weave higher. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If I weave higher, now look how much hair that is. It's not the same, it's so much less. So just that, just where you're picking up is gonna make a huge difference in your look, right? So that little tip, if you're unsure of what to do, should help. So now I'm gonna go in, feather, feather, feather. Keeping that tension. Look how strong my tension is. Now I need new tension, so I'm gonna use my plate and I'm gonna push up while I'm pulling down. Are you guys liking this class so far? Let me know. Are you liking it? Are you learning something new? If you learned something new, say yes. Gonna fold that up, close that up. Beautiful. Amazing. So my next section is gonna be her money piece. This is my favorite money piece to do, you guys. Favorite, favorite, favorite. And I'm gonna also show you another tip here, so stay with me, okay? This is a really good one. Let's see. I'm gonna make this section just a tiny bit thicker. Beautiful. Amazing. There we go. So there's my first section off her hairline. And I'm gonna go in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pinch, separate. And then I'm gonna go in. Now, before I go, this is the tip I wanna show you. Depending on who the guest is, what they want, what their goal is, and what they have, it's gonna vary. You can always weave the front or the back, depending on what look they want. So if you weave the front of the section, they're gonna have that nice dimension and then a little filter over it. If you weave this part of the section, they're gonna have a bright blonde over it, okay? So just keep in mind, you can always weave either side of the section. Anchor. We're gonna glue where we want saturation to begin. Feather it up. Of course, this part of the head is always a little bit tricky, so we're gonna make sure our doll, we always know our guest head moves, so we can move them around a little bit if we need to. lift that up a little bit and make sure we get nice and close to the hairline. You are only as good as that hairline, you guys. So we're gonna go in, anchor that, and close. So our next section is gonna be another weave. The pattern is weave, weave with a slice right behind it. Pinch, anchor. Feather that up. Remember, if you're having a challenge getting that hair into the foil, just use more product. Give flip something to stick to. Beautiful. Double fold. Love that. The next section is going to be right behind it. I'm just going to clean it up slightly, make it a little bit smaller. You want to be mindful of how much hair is going in the foil. You want to make sure you can see through the section if you want that full saturation. If you're doing foliage and stitch work like I was doing in the back, you can get away with feathering as long as all the hairs are going in the same direction and you don't have any knotting that you're highlighting over. Like, wouldn't want you to highlight over teasing or anything like that. You want to make sure the hair is going in the same direction. Beautiful. And that weave with a slice right behind it is going to give her a ton of pop. So I'm going to go in and close. Now remember, that slice is right behind that weave. There's no hair in between. The slice is right behind it and it's going to give it a beautiful pop. Now the fact that this is here and we're not coloring it, this hair right here, as you can see, this is a vertical line that the money piece is gonna sit next to. So when we think about color placement and we think about we want this to be light, this can only be light if it has something dark behind it, okay? So make sure you're leaving some kind of section behind it for it to be dark. You can also apply your root smudge vertically this way to put a wall behind that color. Beautiful. My next section, and I'm leaving that whole section out. I want to leave depth and I want there to be something for all of this beautiful blonde to stand next to. Beautiful. Next section. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pinch separate. And the reason I'm counting weaves for you guys is because I want you to think about the number of weaves that you take is how natural the look is going to be. So if I take 7 weaves, it's going to be more natural than if I did 3 weaves. If I do 9 weaves, it's going to be more natural than if I did 7 weaves. So the more that you count for the weaves, the more natural the look will be. And I like to put in my notes what my weave counts were, because then I can ask my guests, like, oh, how was your hair? She's like, oh, I want it to be a little bit brighter. And then I know, oh, maybe I'll use 5s next time instead of 7s. It just helps you be super, like, consistent and mindful of your guest. That's going to help you with your guest retention, which is going to help you with your frequency of visit as well. So taking really good notes and being consistent throughout your service, writing down your formulas so your guests can trust in that consistency, that is going to improve your frequency of visit, which is one of the #1 ways to grow your business. My next section is going to be another weave. Pinch separate. Glue where we want saturation to begin and feather up. Make sure we're all saturated. Double fold. Next section is a slice right behind it. Remember, there's no weave in between. Right behind it. If you want a more pop-in money piece, if the guest has like thicker hair and you want a little bit more of a pop, you can always do another weave behind this. You could always do another slice behind it. It's completely up to you. You can make it thicker, you can make it pop more, you could do weave, weave, weave as a money piece. And remember, you can just drop it. You can drop that section down to see what it's gonna look like, which I forgot to show you, so I'll show you in a sec. If you ever don't know what to do, all you have to do is drop that section to see what it's gonna look like. Beautiful. Hold that up. Beautiful. Now my next section, and this is where we're gonna get a little interesting here. So if you wanna see what the money piece is gonna look like, all you have to do is drop it. So if I wanna do weave, weave, slice, I'm gonna go weave, weave, and slice. Let's just clean that up. Pristine sectioning, because that's who we are. So now, if you wanted to ask your guest, like, hey Sally, is this popping enough for you? All you have to do, drop that section, okay? So you could drop that down and see what it's gonna look like. Obviously I'm doing weave, weave, slice, so there's gonna be some dimension in this money piece, but this is pretty much what it's gonna be. So you could really see what it's gonna look like. And if it's too much, if you look at it and it's too much, you can always adjust. Beautiful. Get cleaned up here. Beautiful. And then we're gonna come over and just mix a little bit more light there. Do you guys have any questions so far about my placement? And then we'll do some Q&A at the end, but if you have questions, let's hear them. All right, remember I went 1 to a little bit more than 1 to make sure that product is thick enough, but it's still gonna spread for me. All right, next section. Seven weave. Remember, you could foil the bottom or the top of the weave, 2 different looks. 2 different guests, right? I'm gonna pinch, anchor, glue where we want saturation to begin. Now remember, while I'm pulling down, I'm pushing up to make sure that my foil is not slipping on me. And I make sure I've got plenty of product down, so that my flip has something to stick to. Beautiful. Next section. Any good questions?
Our mastermind is answering all of them before I can even say them.
Oh my God, okay. Mastermind fam. Thank you guys. All right. Make sure we get all that saturation. If you're finding you have bleeding, splotching, any of that, uneven lift, any of those things, you guys, it's because the sections are probably not small enough. You have to make sure you take teeny, teeny, teeny sections, because the smaller the section, the lighter the result and the closer to the scalp. So be sure Very, very tiny sections. Beautiful. Now my next section is going to be my slice right behind. Clean it up, clean it up, clean it up. Put a little hair. Pinch, anchor, glue, we want saturation to begin. Beautiful, love that blonde life. I love how it spreads. Such a good product. And it lifts. Beautiful. Weave, weave, slice, fave. All right, guys, so now we're gonna go into this section in here. Remember, we're leaving these sections out. So our first section is gonna be here. Next section is gonna be here. And we're gonna go baby light, baby light. And then we're gonna do our stitch work. Cool? So we're gonna be lightening the background color, and adding some pop, okay? So that's gonna be our placement. Boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you wanna know if this is enough, you can always drop it to see what it looks like. So if you want to know what it's going to look like, you can always drop it down to see. That's going to come from the top and give soft because it's on a diagonal, and because it's a weave, and because it's a baby light, tiny highlight. It's going to lighten that background color and just break that up for her. Because I have a diagonal section here and I left depth behind, my money piece will pop. Cool? Glue where you want saturation to begin. Ooh. Too much power. I don't know my own strength. Oh my God. I'm so strong. Next section. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pinch, separate, pinch. Go in. Anchor. Glue where you want saturation to begin. Feather up. Plate. Plate. Flip. Close. Reposition, refocus, next section. You can meet these points if you want to. It depends on how much depth you want to leave behind. So if you want to leave a lot of depth behind, you totally can do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go pick up, skim, 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 pick up, pinch, separate, pinch, glue where we want saturation to begin. Feather it up. Feather, feather, feather. Close, close. Done. Next section. Diagonal, diagonal. Try to keep those sections clean. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pinch, separate. Anchor. Glue where you want saturation to begin. Now, so you guys are gonna see this one more time, this pattern, and we're gonna go into business. So stay with me. Go in. Close that off. And remember, we're going weave, And you can go V's or W's, whatever you want. Or you could do baby light, or you could just do 7s. You could really do whatever you want. And if you want to learn more about color placement, you need to take my online classes that are coming out, my 5 Ways to Foil 1 and 2. If you want to learn everything about foiling for all levels, that is going to be your best friend. And just so you guys know, you can always click the link in my bio. I have a free 2-hour class I'm offering for you guys. You just click the link in my bio, and it's a free 2-hour class with me on getting back to work. Beautiful. And close. Next section. Now you can always, because the hair falls like this, and because we're over directing forward, you can always take bigger sections as you go back, and it'll build depth for you. So keep that in mind. You can always take bigger sections as you go back. And that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna meet those corners, and I'm gonna do a W. So I'm gonna go in and go pick up, skim, skim, pick up, skim, skim, pick up. Beautiful. Glue where we want saturation to begin. And you can always glue lower and lower as you get to the back of the head. Beautiful. All right, so you guys have seen the pattern a few times. Now we're gonna go into those 3 ways to grow your business. And if you have any questions, please feel free to fire away. I want you guys to get the most from this class. Wonderful. So remember, we did weave, weave, W. Now we can go weave, weave, V. Or weave, weave, baby light. It's really up to you. And as you climb back, you can take bigger sections. Awesome. So let's go into business. And there's 3 ways that we can grow our business. And this is with any business, you guys. This is any business at all. So when it comes to business, there's 3 things. Average ticket, frequency of visit, and new customer count. So you always want to be focusing on how you can get that average ticket higher, how you can get new clients walking through your door, and how you can get your existing clients to come back over and over again and stay in love with you. So the first thing is average ticket. I already shared with you guys that you can use Defy Damage to build your average ticket. You can also charge for the product that you're using, which I know tons of stylists have a challenge with. A lot of stylists have major fear, stress, and anxiety when it comes to adding on extra bowls and extra product because they're afraid to charge more than a certain amount. If that is you, my new pricing class that's coming out is gonna save your life. It's gonna be so helpful. But you guys, pricing is literally product and labor. It's literally your time and your product. So make sure you're adding on your extra bowls. Don't forget to add on extra bowls because at the end of the year, all of that money is going into your pro use cost. That could really be going into your profit column. So make sure that you have time standards and product standards for every single service. If you have time standards and product standards for every single service, your ticket and pricing will be way better and way more on point. If you charge hourly and a la carte, it should all equal the same exact thing. That's how you know your pricing is on point. So if I charge someone for a 6-hour service, or if I ring that service out a la carte, it should equal about the same thing. Beautiful. All right. The next thing that we want to focus on is frequency of visit. And the number 1 way to focus on frequency of visit, you guys, is pre-booking your appointments. The best way is to just pre-book during the consultation. If you pre-book during consultation, it sends a message like, this is just how I do business. If you try to get the pre-book at the end, it kind of sounds desperate. And if you pass it off to the front desk person or the guest care representative, no, it's your job as a stylist to be pre-booking your appointments. So many stylists complain that they don't have control over their schedule. So many stylists complain of so many things that they can fix simply by pre-booking and maintaining control of their schedule. So, my next section is gonna be here. Oh, we got a nice little string. Pick up, skim, 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 skim. Pick up, pinch, separate. Glue where we want saturation to begin. And as you can see, we're all out. All out. Awesome. So we can pre-book our appointments during the consultation, and all we have to do is say, hey Sally, what days of the week are you off? Do you like Mondays at 5 because it's Monday at 5 right now, or do you prefer a different day? And leave all the questions open-ended. So don't say, do you want to pre-book? Because if the answer is yes or no, they're probably gonna say no. So just leave it open-ended, and just remember you're serving the customer by doing this. The last thing is new clients, and guys, I say this all the time like a broken record. The best way to get new guests is to focus on the ones that you have an amazing referral program, and really take care of your clients, okay? So those are my 3 business tips. This is my beautiful placement that I've showed you guys. And I know that we have about 2 seconds before Richard's gonna come on. So all I'm gonna do, he should request to come into the live. All I'm gonna do is just finish off my last section. And voila, that is my 30-minute power placement. Just under 20 foils, and it's gonna save your ass behind the chair, you guys, when you get back and you have to do these quick services. Hopefully I didn't make myself too much of a mess. Awesome. Is Richard here?
Not yet. Is there a way we can add him?
Let's see. Where's Richard? We're gonna wait for Richard, but if you guys have questions, hit me. And I'm gonna go over the final result. Now that you guys have seen the placement, let me go in and do the final result with you.
Richard says he's requested.
Oh,
perfect. Gotta
perfect.
find.
Hey, Richard. Is he there?
Connecting.
Hey, girl.
Hey, miss you.
How are you?
I'm so good. I can't believe I finished in the nick of time.
Can I just say, that was like powerhouse foiling, man. You're just a machine. I can't
Thank
believe how
you.
fast you did that, and how accurate you are and clean you are with your sections. So good.
Thank you. It's like the thing I think I'm really good at. Like, you know, with hair, there's like something that you're just like good at. Foiling's like my thing.
Big time. One of the questions, Gina, that came through was, how can people at home, I guess, speed up the process of foiling? Because we know if you can spend less time but still have a great impact on the result, you're going to have more clients, which in turn makes more money. How do you, I guess, start with encouraging or leading somebody to be quicker with foiling?
Okay, so I have 2 answers, and one is a tough love answer, and one is just a nice soft answer.
Give
okay?
it to us.
So the softy answer is make sure you take clean sections, because if you have an amazing blueprint, you'll foil faster. Okay, that's one thing.
Very good.
Okay, the next thing is, if you want to be fast, you have the option to be fast in a year or 3 months from now, right? You have the option of speeding up simply by practicing. So when I was a salon owner with employees, my stylists would come out of school and they'd be so slow at foiling. They would foil like in 2 hours a half highlight. And then one day they would be like, I'm fast. I don't know what happened. I'm like, you did 50,000 foils. You've leveled up. And they're just like, but they could have been practicing and going and doing those 50,000 foils on their own. So the thing is like, the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is successful people make the time to do things that unsuccessful people don't want to do. So you want to make sure that if you want to practice, if you want to elevate your skills, put it on your calendar, get your mannequin out and time yourself. It's the only way. Or you can naturally become faster as your career gets further.
That's great. That's great advice. The next question I have for you is NAG, natural ash gold. You teach this all the time. It's a question that came up. Please share with us what NAG is all about.
So it's just creating a balanced formula. So I was struggling with my formulation when I was just starting out in the industry. Formulation has never been my strong suit. So I always needed tricks to get me by. And I honestly use a lot of the same formulas all the time because I'd rather focus on placement. So when it comes to NAG was always like if you don't know what to do, do NAG because it's a balanced formula. Natural, ash, gold. So I did 10N, 10NG, and then 9NA. And I have all of the natural ash gold in one bowl. It's been a trick I've used for 10 years or longer than that. It's something that my mentor taught me when I was at my first salon, and it works all the time. And it's a beautiful tone. As you can see, it's just very even and it's nice and bright. Without, I don't like when it gets muddy, and it really doesn't unless the hair is like, unbalanced, but this just balances it right out.
Beautiful, beautiful. And we know as hairdressers, pre-liner can, I guess, damage it. How do you defy damage?
I always use defy damage, but we always use the Pro Series 1 and Pro Series 2, and that's going to give you 5 times stronger hair, more even lift, and it's just going to make your guests so much happier.
Is that Joico, defy damage?
Joico!
Awesome.
Thank you guys so much.
Last question. Where can people see the finished result?
The finished result is right here.
Oh,
and I'll post it on my page.
There you go. The finished result is right there. Maybe can you post it on your social media so we can also see it on your stories or something?
Absolutely. I'll post that for everyone. And thank you guys so much for watching and for being here. And thank you, Henkel and Joico and everybody for doing this. I'm so grateful, and I'm so glad that you chose me to be a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you. We all learn something and we all feel inspired. Thank you for sharing from your heart, from your experience. Thank you very much, Gina.
Thank you. See you guys soon.
Thank you.